Welcome, welcome. How's everybody?
Good.
Aha. We're still dealing with crazy weather here. 107 and crazy.
How are you, Terry Allen?
I cannot complain. I'm still alive. How are you doing?
Good.
That's good.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, Rashonda.
Hi, Rashonda.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
All right, we're joining in. Hey, Ron, I'm going to
Yes,
make you
sir.
going to make you a co-host as well, so that you can let people in. Bear with me, get that done, in case I don't see anybody comes in.
Okay.
Okay, I think you're set.
Okay.
Love it when the battery on the mouse dies. Or this is not always cracked up to be. All right, that's justice. You get it, Ron?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. No, as we wait for people to pop in here in another 4 minutes or so, someone tell me what they have. What's the highlight of the moment? Anybody ready to go to Camelot? Okay.
Hey, Rashonda, I was thinking about you during the DNC. I said, boy, that's like what is that? Almost 3 weeks of back-to-back heavy duty
Oh yeah,
programming in Chicago.
it's literally been insane because we went from that to Black Women's Expo, which is huge here. The Rainbow Push Conference, which obviously it was a big, a celebration of Jesse. Everybody's honoring him everywhere because we all know that we don't have much more time with him.
Right.
Um, and so that, and then that ran right into DNC. So it's been nonstop, and we've still got a few more weeks of exciting things going. So Chicago is like on fire for the next few weeks. I mean, for the remainder of 2024. It's pretty
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was thinking about that, thinking about all the great things that were happening in Chicago where you had Lollapalooza. Don't forget
Yeah,
that either. God,
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That was also big, big. And we had NASCAR right before that.
mm,
So yeah, it's Chicago doing Chicago things, I guess.
okay.
But you know that in LA, LA's crazy too. So
Yeah, we always got something going on. We got two, three things at the same time, okay?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
oh yeah, man, it's crazy. There's so much going on, and we're in the midst of a different climate, a combative climate. We're in the midst of a engaged climate too. I'm surprised at what we're seeing. I've never seen $500 million raised within 3 weeks for one individual. Quite interesting. And Rashonda, thanks for that picture of the Texas delegate that you sent me. I sent that to the Texas Democrats. They went crazy.
Yeah, they were looking good over there. Texas was very strong.
Yeah, and we just had, we'll just listen a few more minutes here and we'll get started. Let's get started 10 minutes after. But we had a bunch of comment talking and conference because I thought that you were at the DNC, and the DNC was pretty much fantastic. I mean, it was produced quite well, and the whole lineup and everything. Everybody's going to find something wrong with it, but I thought it was produced quite well. My baby boomer in me was getting nervous. I said, I understand. We don't want to disenfranchise the white vote with all this blackness showing up.
It was done well.
Yeah. Who was that?
That's me, Jamaica. Hey, everyone. I was saying it was done well, Terry.
Yeah, it was. It was done very well. And like I said, the baby boomer in me and my experiences in politics, sometimes we put things too forefront and disenfranchises the voters at the down ballot level. So I was concerned. And then I talked to a couple of Gen X and Gen Ys and said, oh, yeah, we're included. I'm going to vote. They weren't going to vote before. So I thought that it was a well-produced event. Welcome, Justice. Welcome, Gael. And that was Jamaica, right? This is a Zoom call, people. You know, I don't know where you're hiding.
Yeah. I'm nervous right now, so I'm off camera.
All right. Justice, how are you?
I am doing well. I just sent you a message. It looks like Tony and Tracy are having a hard time getting on the Zoom. I sent the link in Basecamp, but it looks like they're having a hard time.
All right. Well, I can only
Does Tony have the right link? Does he have the right link, Terry? Because it seems like he was having problems.
Yeah, it was only one link there. I deleted everything but this one because we were having that issue before. So let me see if I can send him the other link again. Let's see here, go down a little bit. But you can send him yours if you want, Ryan. I'm just trying to get the, let's see, here it is. Let me see if I can send him this link. Who else was it? Tracy and Tony?
Tracy and Tony.
Okay, because they have the same link I have that I got joined in. I joined on in. So let me see here if we can send them this link. Oh, I see that you put it in there. You put it in there, Justice, and everybody else did. So I don't know. It could be a Zoom has been kind of awkward. Let me go here and see what link it is. All right, everybody got, let me do this. Let me tell them to check their text. They got a text as well. Okay, I'm going to send this link to them right quick. Y'all forgive me for a minute while I go ahead and do this. Hold on. I'm going to put it in the Basecamp and I'm also going to text it to them. Okay. Well, it's good to see the new members on the call. Thank you for joining us, Gaia.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Okay, well, we're past our 10 minutes after for banter and stuff.
I just let Tracy in. I just let Tracy in, so she should be in.
Welcome, Tracy.
I send a link to Tony. Yeah.
Thanks. All right, well, cool. I just want to get us started right quick because we're expecting a couple of guests from 2 other task forces to join us. And I just want to say greetings to everyone and probably do some round robins to know everybody who's here on the call. I see a few familiar folks popping in now. And so I'll just, what I'll do is just go around the room and everybody can introduce themselves and anything we don't know about you. I'll start with our co-host, Ron. I love cameras, Ron. You look good. Look at that big. Is that a gold album in the back?
Oh, man. Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ron Carter, and I am I'm the managing director for the Carter Agency. We are a media relations firm which is located in Pasadena, California. I've been a long time member of NABJ and also a member of this task force. I see quite a few new faces in our task force, the media related task force. Welcome, and I look forward to working and hopefully sometime soon meeting each and every one of you.
There you go. Thanks, Ron. Gael.
Hi, I'm Gael. Sorry, I can't put my camera on right now. I actually don't have the camera on this computer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just one of those like a Mac tower. But I work for AHRC, communication strategist, new member of the task force, new member of NABJ, and just looking forward to working with everybody.
Thank you so much. Mary, quite content. Hey, Mary. Mary, are you there?
Hello, I finally made it on.
Okay.
Thank you for sending the Zoom link.
Yeah, I sent it again, but I sent it to your text phone too. All right, Mary, are you
That
there?
was
Can you
the
talk?
registration
Tracy?
link. Sorry, that was only the registration link. I didn't get the Zoom link. Thanks.
Well, the registration link creates the Zoom link once you register. And that way we're having names there. It says you're muted, Mary. Let me see if I can unmute you. I can just only ask you to unmute, Mary. Let's see what we got. Zoom has been acting crazy. I've been on a few calls, and that's what everybody's not getting some of that stuff. Ask to unmute. Try that, Mary. Okay, Tracy, go ahead and introduce yourself, what you do, and what do you want to bring to the table to the task force?
Hello, I'm Tracy Holloway, CEO of the Way Up Creative Group, and I provide integrate marketing communication services to businesses and nonprofits and creative talent. Work as a publicist and also a talent manager and a producer for film production, among many other things, event planning and management as well. I can bring whatever's needed. I'm pretty versatile. So however you guys need to use me, I am available, more so probably for events and organizing information. Thanks.
Okay. Jade.
Hey everyone, I'm Jade Hulse. I work in public affairs and I'm really good with crisis communications and like employee engagement. And what I bring to the task force, enthusiasm.
We could use that. It's America.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamerica Haynes Lewis. I'm a communications manager with the Center for Workforce Equity and Leadership. It's a grant project led by Families Rising in collaboration with Children's Bureau. I also have my own consulting business, Clever Jam Communications. And what I feel I bring to the task force is perspective. I grew up in the Northwest, which doesn't have a lot of Black folks there. And then just having navigated the child welfare system, both not only as a professional, but as a child who grew up in foster care, I think those are perspectives I bring to the group. Thanks.
Okay. So Mary, did you get a chance to unmute? Oh, she's coming back in. There you go. Well, Justice, your turn.
Hi, everybody. My name is Justice Harkless. I am the PR and Communications Manager at Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, which is a national mentoring nonprofit, and I work on their celebrity and influencer team. So my day-to-day is really working with celebrities and influencers to help spread the awareness of Big Brothers Big Sisters across the country. And as far as what I can bring to the table, I think that crisis communication is something that I'm really, really good at, but just communication in general. And so I'm a former TV reporter, so just general communication and journalistic skills, I think, can transfer over to the task force.
Appreciate that. Joella, are you able to talk?
Hi, my name is Joella, and I'm with the Good Energy Company. We provide smart products to help people stay alert and focused all day long. I think what I can bring to the task force is my entertainment skill sets, such as set design, content writing for scripts, or voiceover.
Great. All right, man. Mary, you can tell me anytime, but we're going to end this introduction with.
Can you hear me
There
now?
you go. Hey, Mary.
Okay. Hi.
It.
Sorry. That was my fault, everyone. I have a new phone. And so I apparently had it muted. Anyway, my name is Mary Benton. I work for the city of Houston, the mayor's office, the chief of communications. I work for the current mayor and then work for the previous mayor. I'm also a former TV reporter, like some of those on here. And just excited to give this task force a try one more time. It just schedules and life got in the way in the past. So I look forward to working with everyone.
Great. Well, we're going to close it out with our wonderful board rep. Congratulations on your new role. You go for it, Rosanda. I'm going ahead to ask you guys to drop the information in the chat so you can save the chat, and it's there for you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rashonda Hall. Can you see me? You hear me?
Yeah, we see you.
So I am, like many of you guys, I'm a mom who's balancing a lot of different things. So today I am at football practice, working from football practice, computer and all, here in the car. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have the opportunity to represent you guys again for another 2 years on the board. I'm serving as a liaison to the task force on the national board. I've been a member for a long time. In terms of what I feel like I bring to the table, it really is an ability to listen, to adapt. Like Jamaica, I also have unique, background, lived experiences that I feel like helps me to really kind of raise my EQ. I am a military brat, so I moved every 2 to 3 years and I always had to learn to adapt to new situations. And so that has really supported my communication skills and ability to connect with people. And so I'm just, looking forward to doing some great things in the next 2 years and to learning more and leveraging all of the skills that you guys bring to the table. I've had the privilege of talking to many of you guys. For those of you that I have not, I hope that we can talk some more here in the very near future.
Thank you, Rashonda. You at practice?
I'm at football practice. I'm at football practice.
Yeah, I was scrambling to get it. I just left the medical place. I would just want to go ahead and start doing this real quick so we can get it done. I want us to make clear that we're going over what we've already emailed out to everyone. This has been recorded, so because a lot of people have to watch this at a later date, and so they get to look at it when it comes back in. And as people come in, I'll ask them to introduce themselves, and I'll say what I can. I'm Terry Allen. I've been Chicago is my 37th conference. So I just want to let you know that. And it is not just as a place to connect, network, and confirm, but our convention and our media institutes and our task force are places where we build and enrich and collaborate with each other to give something back to NABJ. I'm the Vice President of Focus Communications. I'm also the DEI expert, and I've got 2 more DEI classes to do for NABJ that's coming up pretty soon. Our first one, Ron was a participant and Pam was a participant, and we did it with Facebook, Meta. We did it with Politico, and we also did it with Google. And now we're going to be having another Robin on that one. And so my background is I'm certified in diversity, equity, inclusion. Just got my certification in AI called prompt engineering. And that was a hard 6 weeks. And so as the chair of the task force, my goal here is to get us into collaborations. We're going to have a few people drop in at the 7:40 hour with the other task force to tell you some of the things that we talked about at the convention. But today I'm just going to go back over the agenda. I think we got another person that comes in. I think Kendrick, you better turn the camera on. You're a new
Tony
dad
is
now, aren't you?
Tony's in the call too, Terry. Just so you know.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ron. Keep me honest. Kendrick, you can introduce yourself and what you do and what you've done with NABJ and what you bring to the table, what gift you wanted to share with us. And then Tony.
Thank you so much for giving me this
up,
opportunity. Dad? Yeah, that's actually why my camera isn't on right now. Multitasking, but thank you so much for this opportunity to introduce myself. I'm Kenrick Thomas. I've been a part of NABJ on and off for quite some time, actually, about 6 years. I'm a part of the DC chapter, WABJ as well. Unfortunately, I was not able to make it to Chicago, but I did get a chance to make it to Birmingham 2 years ago. And I got the privilege of being able to speak on a panel with Ron Carter. And thank you so much, Terry, for that opportunity, because it was definitely great. And I'm looking forward to getting involved and being an asset wherever I can.
All right. And Kendrick also works with me with PRSA. We're both from the National DEI Committee. We head up the communications arm for that. And we're constantly making them accountable. And I want to share that. Tony? He is here, right, Ron?
Yeah. Tony, you need to unmute yourself. I think he's under your name.
Oh, okay, good.
Tony, unmute yourself.
I'm asking to unmute. There you go, Tony. You're done. Go ahead. Your mic shows to be on, Tony. Try it.
Nope.
Okay. There you
go.
Do you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't have control on the mic because coming in as Terry Allen, so this is not my account. So you got control. You have control over the mic. I do not. Yeah.
You're on now.
Yeah. The issue that I was trying to tell you, the invite you sent was the first meeting listed was November 20th. There's no meeting in the Zoom system listed for tonight. So that's the reason why we were having trouble getting in. But anyway, what are we just introducing ourselves, I guess?
Yeah, and what we bring to the task force.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm Tony Jones. I've been a member of NABJ since, I think I was working in North Carolina in News 14. So that probably was around 2004. I helped the task force with social media postings, some writing. Terry and I, we worked on a number of projects, especially during the pandemic. Just look forward to hopefully continuing in my role or in a different role.
All right, appreciate that. And Tony, if you have the opportunity, you can drop the links to our social media in the chat. We only have 2 existing links plus the media collaborative too. So anyway, you guys, we're going to go real fast, and hopefully the 2 guests that I asked to come in at 7:45 will show up. We're going to, and you can drop your information in the chat so we can have that, and everybody can save it and be who they are. All right, Tony, you're on camera now. I love the Zoom call with people's faces. It's really a great experience. All right, so we're across the country here today. So the first thing is we're going to go to the agenda. The Media Institute, that's something that we're trying to get done. And I know that Roshanda's going to chime in because we're trying to get our sponsors and our locations already identified. Our very first Media Institute was postponed due to the pandemic, was going to be in Los Angeles. And we evaluated it, and everybody who's worked on that is on the call, so you can chime in. It was a good location. that makes it get the increased registration. The subject matter was going to be on entertainment PR and entrepreneurship and PR launches and our partnership with PRSA LA and the LA chapter of NABJ and all of the other things was on par. And we had a host at this time that was SAG-AFTRA. This time we were approaching USC. It's in the central part of downtown, and they've hosted a regional with us already. So we're happy to have, they're happy to come aboard. And of course, y'all know that we had that Media and PR Institute with Amazon. So I've already approached them for that. I know that we're trying to Roshana can either drop it in the chat or chime in, but we need to have something substantial in promising or in pledge in September, so we can put on in October Media Institute. And the other, and I hope she pops on, is Karen, is about the Hampton University, and the other opportunity, I think Roshana has more information on that.
Yeah.
Would be
Yeah,
DC.
no, I think that's exactly right. So we're looking at, I mean, we've had interest from DC. As you just mentioned, Hampton is one of the places, but also NABJ's headquarters, which would help us to keep our costs extremely low and be able to bring more profit to the task force so that we can use more of our dollars for awards, scholarships, etc. For our delegation of membership. So DC interest from organization North Carolina, I think it's Johnson C. Smith, who said that they would be willing to host us, and New Orleans, Dillard. So there's a couple of components that we look into. We certainly want to know where our members want to travel to, and we want to make sure that it's economical for them to get there. But as Terry just mentioned, the goal is for us to identify a location by the end of September, nail down a contract by the end of October, so that when we go into November, we are ready to promote this event to take place in February or March of 2025.
Thank you. I know you'll put some more meat to the fire, and this is for February 2025. Our last Media Institute was during Black History Month. It was an awesome event. The surveys are off the chain. The experience was great. I appreciate everyone who was there. So we got Los Angeles, Hampton, DC, North Carolina, Dillard, and New Orleans. And these are places that will give us a host. I'm really proud of my alma mater for giving up a lot of services to us to get that done. And also being able to secure, hopefully, and create a historical moment for us. But we were the first, I think, they're trying to correct me if I'm wrong, but although I know we were the first to bring an AI panel to NABJ 2 years ago, but we were the first Media Institute to focus on AI and messaging and branding.
Yeah, definitely the first one to do a institute that's focused on AI. Although the innovation bubble obviously has doubled down on AI, even before it had exploded. One thing I would ask is that even if the folks here, we want to do a broader survey, but even if the folks who are on the call could just drop into the chat if any of those cities, markets are of interest, or if you work with either a school or a facility that has space for 75 to 100 where you would be able to host us. I'd love to know whether those cities resonate with any of you guys for attending. Just informally, if you guys could drop that into the chat.
Right, and to just make it easy for us to continue, if you raise your hand, I'll call on you. And if we're in the middle of discussion, you can always add to it. That'll make it easier for me and Ron to identify who wants to say something. But we're talking about currently, as you can see, we've got Los Angeles, New Orleans, Hampton, DC headquarters, and Northern Carolina. So you guys are all over the place. Y'all know that there's some other places. Yeah, Kendrick, I knew you would go DC.
Yeah.
And I know that we can get Wells Fargo as a sponsor. I'm just kidding. All right, America, I like your statement, you're good wherever. I think the fact that our content and the fact this is our first and a very successful media institute. This is our first media institute since the pandemic and since the other one was canceled. I think we are a draw. We can get it this time. And Rashonda has talked to me about it, said it, and this time we'll be able to promote far more advanced without a lot of changes and probably increase our numbers and increase our engagement. And that's it. So we got some more dropped in the chat. So let me scroll back to my agenda. I'm sorry. The next on the agenda is, this will be in line with the Media Institute as well, is our awards. Now, you guys who've done the survey, we have a lot of responses from the survey. You will see that the awards that we have are for us. And so I spoke with two of the potential sponsors for the awards to raise more money for us. We currently have a very large balance that we can use now. There's some expenses that's going to be deducted from it here in the next week or so, but we have things to work with that. But you have our awards are broken down into the categories of Rising Star, Next Gen, Legacy, and a couple of other things where we can award our own and turn that into a moneymaker. And so it can generate revenue for us so that we can offer more things in terms of what we want to do, scholarships of that nature. And we secured the Metallurgy School of Journalism student chapter under the leadership of two Hall of Famers to score and do that. And so most of you who did the survey have got that in there. So we want to try to develop that. So go ahead, Jamaica.
Thank you.
Hey.
This is for the awards gala, correct? When you're talking about the different awards?
Yeah, it's an awards program for us. It could be a gala, but it's definitely an awards program. All the other task force have their own awards and recognition. And I think this will create a great moneymaker for us, but it also could give us some internal recognition for each other that won't, it gives us a space to recognize ourselves.
Okay. All right. Because I thought you were talking about the Salute to Excellence Awards Gala. Okay.
No.
That sounds all good. Rashonda, I have something to say about that I think you should bring up at the board. I'll just message you. Thank you.
No, you go ahead and talk. You want to talk about the
well, the thing about it was they said there weren't a lot of people at the award show for Salute to Excellence. And I know the last time I went, like if they did something engaging like swag bags, some sort of like raffle or something that's engaging to people versus just having people show up and sit for 3 hours through awards. You have to do something that's engaging that people are going to get. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. And I'll let Rashonda respond to it, but let me clarify. You're saying that the attendance was not as full as expected?
Yeah, that was what I saw.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
Okay. I want to share with you, and Rashonda has plenty to say about it. I do want to share with you that a lot of those tables are sold, and the companies, and Rashonda and I already talked about it. Plus, we were working on a crisis communications plan to give to the board that Rashonda is going to give to the board from all of you and the other members. But we were trying to figure out, and this is a conversation I had with Rashonda and others, figure out if the companies are not going to put butts in the seats to release those seats to us so we can. But the Salute to Excellence, and Rashonda will expand on that, it was sold well. So a lot of the tables were sold. It was just empty because the corporations who bought those tables didn't ticket them out. And here's another thing we found out based on the career fair, that a lot of the tickets are allocated to the people who come. The career fair closes on Friday. People leave on Friday. And then we can also create a process where we can ask them to donate their tickets so we have full seats. Rashonda?
I think you hit a lot of really good points. But Jamaica, I think the SE team that produces it would definitely be open to other ideas to, try to make sure people are excited about it and that we can get, as Terry mentioned, those sponsors to actually utilize their seats, because that's where the attendance lacks. Is certainly it is our empty sponsor tables, right? And that is unfortunate. And trust me, they go through multiple steps to tell the sponsors, hey, look, you have a table, you have 6 seats, You have that. Are you going to use them? Are you going to use them? Are you going to use them? And the sponsors, I think there's just a disconnect between the person who maybe handles the sponsorship and the
Okay.
people who are on the ground, right? So they're like, oh yeah, we want our tickets, and then the people on the ground are like, oh no, I'm flying out Saturday morning, so I don't need my ticket, and those people need to know that they can donate them, and then we can put students in them or whatever. But your
Okay.
point about doing something that's more exciting,
Yeah.
NABJ has worked to try to
Okay.
bring that event down because it was much longer, and it even still now I think could use some trimming that wouldn't make the honorees feel slighted. But I do
Right.
think there's some fun things that they could do to incorporate some of the stuff you're talking about if they get the manpower to do some of those things. I love who doesn't love a good swag bag? I love
Oh
them.
yeah.
You know, but
I
yeah.
I paid $400 for the last award show I went to.
Oh wow.
And it's because of the swag bag. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Oh
like
yeah.
it was the beauty industry thing and their products that I'm going to use, and they really know who their audience is. And I mean, I don't have to buy makeup and other products for a year plus because I know in that bag, I'm going to get stuff that I need, but I'm also going to be able to network and see people that I want to see. And I'm willing to sit through 2 hours worth of
Yeah.
awards, even if I don't win, because I know I'm going to get something tangible that relates to me.
And
I
I think
really
that's a
love
good.
that idea. So we can have another conversation offline, and I will also bring up because we are having our first board meeting um, next week. I will bring it up and ask them about who about the programming and particularly for that particular function. We always say you raise your hand, then you volunteer for something.
There
But
you
I will
go.
find out how we how do we take some of those ideas and even our sweat equity to that group.
And I just want to add to that, and then we're going to let Tony speak. Is that you're right about the swag bag? The Oscars, the Emmys, and Run knows this. The swag bags are to die for. They're there for a reason. They have a lot of value, and so one of the things we're doing is trying to get ourselves engaged. And this is a great way to be engaged from the Media Institute side. On the second agenda item, I will be able to talk to you about the other levels of engagement that's coming from the survey, but Rosunda is going to share this information with the board, and we should be poised and ready to be able to participate and help raise the thing. One last thing. When I received my Salute to the Excellence Award, it was broken down. The banquet was an hour and a half, but we had those receptions. This time the reception was just a meet, eat, and greet. But during the time we was broken down, that first reception had certain awards that were given out at the reception, and they were done by the host of Entertainment Tonight. And the second section was done by, I think it was TMZ. And then the gala itself was on the inside. So it did break it down. And so that's another thing we can add to it, Rashawn, is that our receptions, the last two receptions for Salute to Excellence have just been receptions. They were never given, like you see with the Oscars, you'll see something coming on with the Oscars says, in an open reception at so these people were given these awards and they show their pictures already. So it minimizes the amount of time that the Oscars goes on. So that's another thing to add to that suggestion as well. Shonda, Tony?
Yeah, thanks, Terry. Just a couple of observations about Salute to Excellence. And I know you're a longtime member. If you remember, maybe as early as maybe 6 or 7 years ago, there were more people that attended the Salute to Excellence because you talked about a lot of the vendors, they would leave, but when it was crowded on Saturday was when the job fair closed on Saturday. Since it's closed on Friday, people are leaving a day, they're leaving Saturday morning. If you close the job fair on Saturday, they're leaving Sunday. So I remember when it used to be full, you'd walk in there and there would be, no seats at all. So it is correct. I know, Ron sat at my table and we were noticing there were 3 empty tables in front of us, but we knew that they were sold. It's just not necessarily a great look when it's empty like that. The other thing I wanted to maybe mention is I like the idea of a swag bag, The only countering thought I would have, even though the stuff in there is sponsored, would that necessarily bring a hike in the price of tickets? Even though NABJ necessarily would not have to pay for the swag, would they wind up just charging more for the tickets? Because the Salute to Excellence, it used to be about $75-$85. Now it's $150, and students, it's out of a price range for a lot of students. They're never going to be able to afford. They're just trying to scrimp and save and get by and just barely make it to the convention. So that was just my thought. Yeah, if you have swag bags, it'd be great. I love a great swag bag myself, but would that actually lead to higher ticket prices?
I'm going to say this, and Roshana can join in. The ticket pricing is a programming issue. The swag bag does not necessarily have to increase. A great swag bag does not have to increase price. Those are decisions made by programming. The more we get engaged, the more we can have them. Roshana?
No, you nailed it. I won't begin to say that I could speak to that, but I could see it happen. Tony, I get where you're going, with that, when they say, hey, look, you get some of the people start to know you're going to get the tools that would be coveted by journalists, because that's ideally what's going into that bag, or really tools that are, or things that are focused on content creators or journalists. I think would be make the most sense. But yeah, I mean, we could certainly bring that up, and do know that there's not only the student rep Grant and student reps before him, all of the board is super sensitive to how this impacts our students, how everything impacts our students and our independent press, because we know we have a lot of freelancers and a lot of independent people who are not, their convention experience is not being paid for by a big newsroom. And so every time there's an adjustment made on price, the board is super aware of it, in tune with it, and they bring it up. And I would just say that we have to continue to make sure that that's something that is pressed.
That's great. And so, this is a great kind of conversation, because we get to have our board rep take that to the table and be able to push it in. Ron?
I think Tony makes a great point, and that is relative to the job fair. He is correct. There was a time when if you didn't have a ticket for the Salute to Excellence, you couldn't get in. It was jam-packed. And we used to have, a lot more awards being given out, and people still showed up and stayed all the way to the end. So that might be something that NABJ board needs to think about, stretching the job fair at least into half a day Friday, or not Friday, Saturday, so that they can keep those people there, because the room seemed like it wasn't filled. And if there was any kind of TV filming, it would have been an issue, because there would have been a lot of empty seats, and television really don't like shooting empty seats. As it relates to the swag bag, there are companies that actually specialize in creating swag bags for events. For instance, like the Oscars, the Emmy, the Grammys, they all have companies who actually go out and they accumulate all those beautiful products for memorable, I should say, products for those swag bags. But that's something that NABJ, if they're thinking about doing swag bags and want to make it real high level and highfalutin, they're really going to have to hire somebody to do it. If not, you're going to get the same old products that you get just about from every single event you go to that has quote unquote swag bags, and it's usually not something that is enticing. So I would recommend, and Rashonda is correct, it's going to affect the price, because it means that NABJ we'll probably have to raise the price or get a sponsor to sponsor that part of the Salute to Excellence. But it would be great with people dressed up in their fancy gowns and their tuxedos to walk out of that room and get a really cool swag bag.
Good one, Tony. I mean, Ron, I appreciate that. Now, there's something we want to add to the fact that there are swag bag companies. I can say this, I'm on the committee and that does the swag bag for the Divas Simply Singing, which is, what's that TV show, Elementary, her show. But we do Divas Simply Singing swag bags. But I want to make a point to you guys that swag bags are a moneymaker and they're not an expense. Companies will die to give. And this is something that's coming back from the survey about the crisis communications from all of you guys. We need to sell our value. With the Diva Simply Singing, the Oscars, people donate those things because if they turn around and get the capture editorial, they capture a star wearing their gown, they capture someone using their earpods, they pay that value. So we have to convince and help the board show them how to sell that as a value so that it doesn't become an expense that raises the ticket. And I do know that a lot of times our pricing is program driven. It's not done by cost. Well, although we do need to sponsor those things. And so Diva Simply Singing, the guy breaking his neck to put some mugs in there that showed the diamond studded Diva mugs. And he personally did the expense to that. There was, who is it? Procter & Gamble spent $10,000 to create the gift to go in there because they know that the majority of the members of that event were storytellers and also influencers and celebrities. So we want to make sure that when we talk about our swag bags, our Salute to Excellence, and other things, that we have to understand our value and we can sell that value. Jamaica, your second time, go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. I was just gonna say that, I mean, when y'all go back to the board, those that make the decision, you can even make it at-large organization, input opportunity, like being able to do a survey and asking the members at large, would y'all want to see, swag bags at our next, STE, and even for our own Media Institute, we, just leading by example. If we put in the work and we get a sponsor and someone does, swag bags for our own event, we're showing that leadership initiative as a task force, so that's another way to do that too, if that's something we really like as a task force.
Yeah, and I was typing that as you were speaking and putting in the notes that we can all keep, is that the Chicago conference proved that they need to engage the media-related people on a lot of levels. And we on the media side, we're swag whisperers. Right, America? Swag whisperers. We can lend the expertise to show that you don't have to spend money to create a great swag bag. You just have to convince people that their product needs to be at NABJ, just like they do with the booth. Now, so we'll go on to the next one. You guys can chime in on this. Before I go to the next one, we did have another person join us, Dr. KL Newhouse from the West Coast, the Best Coast or the West Coast? Doctor, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, good evening, everyone, and absolutely the best coast.
Right, be nice to California, Terry, okay? Please.
I heard you, Ron.
Please. We got everything here, okay?
Stand up. I mean, it is definitely one of my Venn diagram points of connection with the future president, Madam President herself, being a Cali girl.
So wrong. All right, go ahead.
And that. So anyway,
yourself, tell us what you do and your impact to our task force. Go ahead.
Well, good to be here with you guys, and my regrets that I have been somewhat intermittently accessible. I've been finishing a book amongst a number of other things that have just been in conflict with our previous time. So just glad to be here. Congratulations on all the continued hard work and footprint that Media Relations Task Force continues to make indelible. That definitely, I would say, creates an atmosphere that it is challenging to ignore our contribution. So I certainly want to say salute to all of you for that excellence. I've been, for those I haven't, I'm most everybody on here, I've been at some point in the company of either virtually or in person, but I am the chief strategist for conflict culture and crisis communications. I'm specifically focusing on media crisis communications. A lot of my focus has shifted very specifically to election rhetoric and disruption of election disinformation and false narratives within the media. So that has been a lot of what I've been speaking on the last couple of months in terms of high engagement. So all of those really are just around shaping factual rhetoric and narratives. And specifically, that just comes out of my 20 plus years of shaping and forming communications um, tools and tactics and techniques. So that's primarily what I do under the umbrella of New Image Communications, which will be shifting to New Joy Media in 2025, along with splitting the other part of what I do, which is dispute resolution and mediations, which will then become untrauma mediations, which will be a bridge to the book that I've just completed. I don't know what else I can say that'll be helpful, except I've been active with NABJ for well over a decade plus, and I've been a member of 4 chapters, and in each of those chapters, I've been very active, either on the executive board or specifically with some of the ad hoc committees and up to and including the Orlando conference planning. Just like this year, I wasn't as visible, but I was on the committee with the volunteers. So I did a lot of back of house contributions, although I wasn't able to go to Chicago. I've just recently regained enough of my speaking voice to even be this audible. So I have to also take that in small packages in terms of not straining my vocal cord. Just glad to be with you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to just be present and be a part of this phenomenal group.
All right, KL, do you want to share one of the projects you did for us?
That may be referencing the package that was submitted with respect to the amendment to request quote unquote the equity of voting for this particular task force membership in terms of just the media related members. If I do recall, and it's been a minute since I've looked at it, so forgive me. I think once we had the last reporting out that I was present for, that Rashonda was just telling us about again, once again, the decision had pretty much become to an impasse. I'd like to think bottleneck that we could probably open up, but that's going to take a lot of transition and turnover with specifically some specific types of board members. So we continue that journey, and I am certainly on standby to be as helpful or to contribute or to advocate and support where I am needed, and can certainly lend any expertise or just another helping hand. Because I think if nothing else, if we are not allowed to vote for president, we at the minimum, besides just our board member, I think then there needs to be some consideration of the amount of fees that we pay that are relegated to the same amount of full membership with respect to events and conferences, but we're not granted full representation input. So
I appreciate that. Thanks
if
again.
that continues, just let me know how I can be helpful. Thank
All right, so we have a full slate of things that we can throw our contribution in. So we focused on our agenda. So let's get back to the agenda because our call will be over in about 6 minutes. Panels and webinars. We've had the success of having a cross-generational inclusion. There's never been an old head or a young head. We've had cross-generational inclusion in every panels that we had, especially at convention. But we also need to, 2 years ago, we had webinars that we focused on, we dealt with, and it was a cross-member benefit. I remember one had 2 editors with Kim Bardakian, 2 editors, and it was a Pitch Me With Your Best Shot live, and it was done that. And the other thing is that there's been cross-generation inclusion. Kendrick and Ron are here. Kendrick can speak on what we were developing for Chicago until he became a dad all of a sudden. But we are focused on looking at diversity, DE&I, and diversity in the industry, especially when we did Black Men in PR, which was standing room only, and it went 45 minutes longer than it's supposed to because we couldn't get people to leave, is to focus on things that have specific BIPOC influence, and then we develop our panels and our webinars. So does anybody have any concerns on how the panels are submitted? For instance, Justice is a influencer genius, and she knows about the impact of being an influencer. So we could do the panels on those things as well, because a lot of our stuff needs to be done. Rashonda, you want to add to that?
And I'm so sorry, guys. My call dropped while Dr. Newhouse was speaking. So I just came back in.
Oh, okay.
You're just asking about you're asking about submitting for content for panels or for webinars?
Both, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because we are actually, that's one of the things I definitely want to make sure we brought up, was that we are about to enter webinar season. They're going to start opening up to submit workshops to do for the fall. I know Justice and I talked about looking at programs that had not been approved for the convention that could be recreated as webinars. And she had some great ideas about mental health panels, and there are certainly other ones. So I would encourage you guys to think about being able to do those. Next week, when the board meets, we should get the results, or at least a high level on the results of the survey that National sent out following convention. And at that time, they usually tell us what topics ranked the highest, because if you can remember, you had to rank if you guys completed the survey, you had to rank the sessions that you most enjoyed. That will really help lead, and that will help guide the next programming committee on what programs get approved. So it's important that we pay attention to that, and that we figure out a way to leverage that information when we are creating sessions that we want to be approved organically. Of course, Terry and I always talk about the fact that if you can find a sponsor to pay for a session, that changes the game. But if you just want to submit a session into the to the broader pot to be approved, it's great to know, what ranked well, and to use that as, as inspiration when you're creating sessions for 2025. And this is going to be a special year, right? Because this is the 50th. So keep that in mind. We're talking a lot about the road to 50. And so that might impact content as well.
There you go. And this is our 50th year. So we have a lot of special branding we can do for whatever we offer. Kendrick, did you want to expand on some of the ideas that you discussed? He may be nursing.
No, not at all. Not nursing.
I'm just messing with you.
No, I think pretty much what was said was very phenomenal. I think, just being a Black person in media relations and PR, there's definitely a lot of topics to really discuss. I think one of the things that we can discuss too is how, when you're a Black person in a predominantly white institution or corporation or firm, seeing things that other people don't see, and how do you address those things, right? Those are a lot of the things that I experience and other people may experience. And those things could be as simple as, seeing that there's a report done on the Black community, but there was no Black people involved in the actual report that was conducted. Like how do you conduct a report about a Pacific group and not have any representation of that group involved in the actual organization of that project? Or those kinds of things, or seeing how other people are treated versus yourself, or seeing how a group of people are treated versus other people, opportunities that other groups of people have that people that look like us aren't. how do we address those things and have those kind of conversations when we're the minority in the room? I think that also is something we can definitely touch on. But great ideas for sure.
Thank you, Kendrick. You're talking about those black jobs? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
So, black jobs. Gail, you want to add to that? Anything to it before we close out?
I was just gonna add to the chat. I had a couple of webinar ideas I think would be compelling, especially when it comes to, I was thinking like emerging in new media roles, because with social media, blogging, stuff like that, a lot of journalists are being split into like 5 different roles. So, just learning to identify the role that the company wants you to play and how to just maximize your potential in that role. One for building content strategy, maybe running content meetings. So I'll just put that in the chat. That's okay.
I love it. I love it. And one last thing, and I just got a text. She says she's doing what Kendrick's doing. She's nursing Chiquetti. I reached out to Don, who is was a member of our organization, but she's also with the Health and Wellness Task Force that's just been formed. They had 23andMe sponsor them, and I just got a call from a pharmaceutical company that deals with mental health medicines, and we were talking about working on mental health management and cultural equity in the workplace. And that is also something there. And Gail touched on a little bit, is that we have to develop and identify what are our new roles and how they're thinking of coming together, because content management, we look at titles where people are transitioning from journalism. This is a journalism organization. We have to prepare for our transitioning journalists as well. And making success. This is what came out of the Amazon-sponsored webinar on going from press to PR, is that people needed to know how to transition and what were the top things of transferable skills and how to get the job and keep it. You go from being a reporter or a journalist or an investigator, and then you have to come in to become advocacy reporting. So career progression and career transition is important. Coming in and being the only Black person in the room, cultural equity and mental health management is there. And looking at, and I'm just playing on the title because it's been quite funny, but what are our new Black jobs? And some of the things that people that Justice work with have engaged in influence, content management, all those are the new titles. And right now, it's not about coding, it's about prompt engineering, because we are going to be an AI world regardless. So I see the things drop in the chat. This has been great. You guys, make sure you start saving the chat and make sure we have that, because our portals to reach you is through, if you did a survey, you did that, our social media strategies and that. The database for the members, and this is one thing I want to show you about what I'm pulling up from the survey that I'll be sending to Rashonda for our meeting, is that what I've found out is a lot of the members say, well, I'm media related, but I still have a full membership. I'm not here to discuss the value or understanding of that, but we have to understand there's a lot of us who are in these jobs that are over here that are media related, but they still have a full membership and they want to vote for president. But they have talked about the new content management, prompt engineering, branding, crisis communications, strategic communications, media forecasting. So those jobs are falling in there. So it's good that we identify those things. And that's from the survey. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is that when we were in the meeting, and Rashonda spoke about it. So if you guys go back to the YouTube page, you'll see our last media-related meeting, and we all recapped the conference. But what we're getting back from the survey is that we need a communications plan, and we need a communications plan so that our journalists and our staff and our team and everybody will have strategies. And so I'm compiling that information so we can send it back and maybe get spearhead with a couple of communicators. One of the things that several of the old school members came to me and said once I spoke, and this is what I said: you guys are talking about how we handle the amplification of this organization in the wake of the Trump arrival and his departure. I mean, J.D. Vance just mentioned NABJ yesterday in the meeting. I said, we have 765 members you could tap into, and because that's what we're doing: reputation management, brand management, content management, influencer. Let us help you make sure that we're prepared for that. And so that's what that survey is going to reveal. That's what we're going to be submitting to Rashonda so she can, and the president, because they asked for it. And I thought it was a good time if you did that. Our general meeting lasted 3 hours. So if you wasn't there, you got a showcase of what ifs and things that could have been done. Fantastic conference, fantastic discussion. That's why I love this organization. So you guys be engaged and be ready. We don't have the opportunity, we don't have the benefit of having our database. I'm now collecting one because I had asked Vinton Blanton to be here, but he's talking to sponsors about something. He just texted me, I'm still with the sponsors, to talk about how they are developing their database so they can stay engaged with our base. The office controls that base, and so that's the way they do it. And we're going to have our great board rep is putting together an initiative that they will blast all our members, all based on the elections and the information from the elections of 725 media-related members. Now, let me say this. There's 325 more who are still full members because they didn't change their membership. So we have a very influential task force, a section. So I think you put it in there, didn't you, Rashonda? Oh, there you go. Go ahead and talk about that, Rashonda, so we can close out.
Sorry, trying to hit unmute. No, yeah, Terry's nailing a lot of it on, trying to nail it, a lot of it in the head. We will have a general media related member meeting on September 25th. And, we have been pushing the national office to share the broader list with us. What you will soon get, guys, and, it's so important that people take this opt-in step. You will soon get email that that is sent out that says, hey, here are all the task forces that we have. Please click the ones that you're interested in and let us know. Then further, a next step that says, hey, I agree to share my contact information with NABJ for outreach for outreach to find out about events and opportunities. Yeah. And so that will be, that will come soon. And it's important that you opt into that, because if you don't opt in, they're not going to give us that information. So, that is a separate issue, but what I dropped into the chat is just an FYI, save the date. We are going to have a general media related member meeting, and we are sending that out to everyone. So I have to jump off now because I have to go to the parent meeting for football. But
parent meeting.
Yeah, we have a parent meeting, so I had to jump off to go to that parent meeting. But I am available everywhere. RashondaH@gmail.com. Rashonda Hall on every social platform, LinkedIn, everywhere. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, they can definitely do so, and I'm available. But look for more information about that September 25th meeting very, very soon.
Thank you, Rashonda.
Appreciate it. This
Thank
is
you
really
all.
great.
Thank you.
And
And thank you,
congratulations
Terry and
again.
Pam, for having these regular task force calls. It's so important to make sure people know what you guys are working on. And it helps me to take it back to the board as well.
There you go. And it shows how powerful we are. Now we just need to have some solidarity and step up and get it done. Thank you, Rashonda. Bye-bye.
Good night, Rashonda.
Good night.
So the other thing I wanted to last as we close is that you guys go ahead and I get your emails, I get the phone calls, and a lot of times I just want to say this. I haven't shared my challenges. I have. Ron knows about it. But so a lot of times I can't take a random call. I used to be able to, but they come like 4 or 5 calls an hour. And so it's good to use the base camp. And the base camp is what got us on this call. Base camp is what got us here and got us to fix the glitch to even get on the call. So please, I personally pay a lot of money for that base camp. So make sure that you guys are in there jumping in your ideas. If Dr. Newhouse is up at 3 in the morning, want to share an idea, we'll all get it, but we'll get the chance to see it when we can. She can't lose the idea or the impact because she's got to wait till I wake up or Ron wakes up so she can call us. So we can, that unity is there. We do need to focus more on cultural equity in the workplace and how we maneuver success and also transition and growth. And one thing we have not done is to focus on entrepreneurism, because a lot of us are company owners, and principals in our companies, especially in our PR and our advertising agencies. The one last thing I want to say before we go is that, and KL, you'll be proud of this, and so will you, Ron and America. The Media Collaborative Happy Hour on Sunday, the virtual happy hour, is back. And we're also developing a podcast on Black Men in PR. So you get your drinks ready for that 5:30 on Sunday, where we give out prizes for the best drink on the call. And we're going to have the producers and writers of Greenleaf, the show that Ron and I worked on when we were in, what city was that one, Ron? We were in Detroit?
Yeah, I think it was Detroit. No, it wasn't Detroit. Was it Detroit?
It was either Philadelphia, one of them.
Philly. It was Philly.
Yeah. So we got a chance to work with the staff and the cast of Greenleaf, and I've asked them to step in and kick off our Media Collaborative virtual happy hour. One thing I want to say to everybody, people are on this call because you reached out to them. So stop getting on the call just for you. Bring 5, 6, 7 members with you until we have what Rashawn is talking about, access to our database. Because I have 37 emails just this week alone about the survey. And I'd love for us to have a way to share that with each other, and it doesn't drive us all crazy, like myself. And I'm used to it. I mean, I'm a leader of a company, but I'm also a collaboration specialist. And you have to deal with things in the moment. Ron and I were talking about the thing with Trump, is that they were talking about how overwhelmed they were and how are things at. Well, I said, boop, that's our job. We are overwhelmed. It's last minute turnaround. And as a PR expert, you are ready for that turnaround. And that's the way it works. And so journalists weren't aware of that, but that's what we do. Go ahead, Ron.
Hello,
Terry, little man.
Terry, I just want to say that I think one of the important things that was said here tonight was what Dr. K.L. Newhouse said, is that, we really need to get some kind of answer from NABJ about this whole voting thing and the price that we pay for registration and everything else. I mean, we pay the same amount of money as the journalists, but yet and still, we're not able to enjoy the simple act of voting, which is a right, I think, that anyone that belongs to an organization is supposed to have. So I think that that is definitely something that we definitely should be paying more attention to, and not let this just slide, or that the convention is over and so this issue is really off the table. Because if we do that, then next year we'll be right back here saying the same thing. So I really want to commend Dr. Newhouse for really bringing that subject to the table tonight, because I totally had slept on it. But after she talked about it, you know how I feel about it.
Right.
Taxation without representation is not a right that should be taken away from anyone.
And let me piggyback on that, Ron. Let me piggyback on that. We had the right to vote. We need to also ask, why was it taken away? All right, because when we voted for Greg Lee, we got the Pat Tobin Award. We got 6 awards in the Salute to Excellence, and we got moved from the reception to the banquet. So when we were voted for president, he made promises to us and they were delivered. So we also got funding. So we need to understand that. But I'm going to say this to everybody. Those are the things you need to charge our board rep with doing, because she's a good fighter, a great fighter. But we need to put that stuff together and demand it, not just complain about it, but call for the value. And please, let's use Basecamp to collaborate on how we do the pitch. I had some people come to me trying to get into the Monterey Jazz Festival, the Essence Music Festival, trying to get into the Democratic National Convention. And they showed me what they had sent. And Ron would cringe at this, but their pitch was all wrong. You're in the wrong lane asking for access. You're not selling the value as a PR influencer, as a journalist, and as a writer, as a storyteller. You're trying to sell your 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 um your swag when you should be selling your talent, and that'll open the door. Because to get in the door to the Monterey Jazz Fellow, for example, I need to know you're going to be able to amplify what happened there to 16 more news outlets. Then I'll let you in the door. I could care less that you know Ron Carter, he's on the Monterey Jazz Forward board, and get Ron to give you a ticket then. But when you say you're going to influence and you have influence here, you are representing this, you have followers, you're tied to NABJ, then that opens the door. But you need to use the base camp and use our membership to collaborate on something before you pitch, because it's hard to enhance you and help you once they got the first pitch, because it's not going to look credible. It seems like you're scrambling for getting in the door, and so that's what we have to do. And so we need to make sure we have voter equity, but we also need to let them know we had it. So this is like, again, goes back to will a swag bag increase the gala price? No, that's a program decision. Okay, well, we get voter equity. Yes, that's a membership decision. We're 765 strong. So we need to stop showing up on this call with just us. You got to make sure people are coming. I reached out to 6 of the people on this call. So if y'all reach out to 6, it'll be 55 people on this call. And so we have to get that done. Our happy hour was our biggest attendance. We usually have 100 people in the happy hour. So the virtual happy hour will be back on Sunday, because everybody by 5:30 on Sunday, they're ready to have a drink and talk. And we had great things. And go to the YouTube channel when I put it out there, and you'll see all the subject matters that we had. We talked about APR certification. We talked about in Black Public Relations Society. We talked about pandemic pivot. We talked about COVID vaccinations. We talked about transition in journalism. We talked about sponsorship and pitching that. Those happy hours that I created were powerful. KL was one of the strongest representatives there. Ron talked about his work in the public affairs arena. This is how we grow ourselves and create that possibility. But you guys, you can't just show up by yourself. This is like in this voter thing, the down ballot is the most important part. I do believe we're going to have a historical change in our democracy. But the down ballot is going to be important, because I remember our current candidate, Vice President Harris, saying, I can't do anything if I don't have a majority in the Senate and the House. That means we need to bring people to the table, vote, bring people to the table to change it, get rid of those that are right down the street from you. Now, Ron, you know that Dr. KL came out of Eddie Bernice Johnson office, and that was one of the most powerful congresswomen in the world. Or Maxine tore it up. But KL is responsible for the down ballot and letting people know who you should vote for and who you should get rid of. And it's not just about the president, but our current candidate can't do anything she promised to do if we don't vote down ballot. So you guys, I know that we're overwhelmed right now, and I've gotten something. I joined Black Men for Kamala, and I swear they 55 emails an hour. Gut it out, y'all. Just show us who to vote for. Give us a voter guide. Most voters are ignorant. They just want to know where to show up. Okay? So let's do this on the media-related task force. 765 members. That's come from the election committee, not from me. And the other 200 or 300 who just keep their main membership. Let's put these people on the table so we can get our voter equity back. Let's do what we do in our communities to do down ballot. Let's look at our corporations who are already sponsored. Amazon is already a sponsor in NABJ, but I convinced them to have an inclusion rider. If you're gonna get some more money in NABJ, tell them some of that's gonna come to us, the media related task force. That's how I got Google to give us $150,000, and we got 5,000 out of that. So we also now have a sponsorship equity package in there. If you bring something to the table, so many percentages come. We are at this point, and I'm going to take my roses while I can, Ron. But we've never had a $9,000 balance on this task force until I put it there. So let's use that money. Let's get some more money, and so we can talk about our awards. We can give scholarships to PR students. We can give support to those who can't afford a conference can come. We can do a lot with those funds. So this is my soapbox call to say, let's be engaged and let's be active and let's get this done. It's not about us individually. It's not about our silos. And I'm going to work with those who are still willing to get this purse auction because it's the money maker. It's always made money for us. And we get to amplify it. And I think Jamaica is the best representative for it. She is Miss America. So she's a good one to do it. We're going to give her the tools and stuff there so we can raise and make some money. So let's do this, people. I'm sorry to take this 7 minutes past my cutoff time. Any closing thoughts before we go? And I'll close out in prayer with us. Ron, I saw you smiling. You got something to say?
I was just smiling about the black man for Vice President Harris, because I know I was on that first call and donated some money, contributed to the $4 million they collected that night. But anyway, since that day, I've gotten over 100 emails from them. Every 5 minutes, I'm getting an email. So it's all good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And they are, and this is where we come in as experts at PR. Yes, that was the best thing to do to have that call for Kamala. Black men for Kamala. And this is not a political statement, y'all. This is a strategic statement. Black men for Kamala, white women for Kamala, black women for Kamala, white men for Kamala. $500 million, y'all. So that was strategic. But then they took a phenomenal reach to us, our emotions, and failed to get strategic about the process. All they're doing is telling us get on another call, when you should be telling us, here's the guide to make sure that you are eligible to vote. Don't let them take care. Make sure you're registered. Here's the opportunity when you vote. If they try to block you, make sure that they could be downloading information to make sure we build our coalition. But they took a call, saw the success, and then they want us to get on 900 other calls. No, we need strategic. I need to go in. I have a program at the church called Give Me Five. You take five, I'll take five. 1,521 people will vote as a result. And it's more complicated than that. So we got to take the media-related task force and bring it back to where it was. We had, Ron can testify to this. The president's reception people would lead the president's reception at NABJ to come to our suite. That's how bad we are. And in San Jose, we shut down the presidential reception because our suite and our swag was better. We can do this as we join together. KL, I think I sparked some thoughts in you. I see your hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you for the quick acknowledgement. I just want to suggest the Win with Black Men, which I just always sneak in as an honorary. Of course, had a quick call tonight. They're shifting to Wednesdays as they ramp up because I'm on state committees in California, for California, and then micro committees within that as well. But I will just applaud the Win with Black Men call tonight, was specifically just point by point what you just mentioned, Terry, and encapsulated in their call tonight. And it's rebroadcast on Black Star Network, Roland Martin's network. So it'll be rebroadcast there. It should be up and ready. But one of the key things that happened was the speaker, Meredith Horton, who spoke specifically about the establishment of an election protection office out of the Harris-Walz campaign. And that had been one of my primary complaints the last 4 months as I was speaking and being asked to give workshops. And so I was extraordinarily pleased that there's specific, and they already have stand-ups in 12 states, because that's going to be our issue from casting the vote all the way to certification. So I will say they addressed that tonight with a very plugged-in professional who is now
Here's what I want you to do with that, KL. KL, the base camp has 492 people in it. Hit the base camp so the rest of us hit the base camp and reply in base camp so the rest of us can see that. Now, I don't want to turn the call into
I just wanted to make sure that was it, so people know where they can plug in.
The best way to say that is in the base camp. 492 people get it, not the 7 on this call. So that base camp is a powerful communication tool. Everybody, make sure we use it, and make sure we use it for each other to build our power. We're tied to countries that
Terry,
will sponsor.
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Newhouse for that, because that is so important to protect your right as a voter. I know that's not what this call is about, but just anytime people can hear that, that's just so important, especially in our community.
Jamaica,
that's all
it
I
is
wanted
important.
to say.
It is important. We need to protect our right as voting members of NABJ, and we need to get our voting back. So it's important. So you guys go ahead. I'm going to mute everybody. I'm going to get off this call, but I need you to be engaged. I don't need to have to call Ron at KL because I know they're going to get something done. I need to be turning y'all down for all the things they're doing. We need to make Rashawn to be as informed as possible so that we continue to have not just a reunion at our conventions, but an empowerment move. We need to be moving the needle for ourselves. And Tony's on the call. We went through the whole process of the job search that Tony had and how many recommendations and leads. And now look what he's doing. He puts over 128 jobs in our social media because of us supporting him through his process. You know, gift cards I sent him. So let's make sure that we get engaged. I don't want to get on a soapbox, but you know, I'm not going to live forever. And recently I've been told that. And so I want us to have a legacy of getting our votes back. And yes, we do need to know what we need to do in our election, because what is on the ballot is a democracy. It's an ideology. It's not candidates. Let's do that. But let's get involved with this. Get in that base camp, send our board rep what we need to do to get our votes back, to giving equity to our membership, get our panels engaged. And first of all, we need to recognize our own, because recognition is good for the soul. So the awards that Ron, everybody contributed to, we created 12 awards. Let's get them done. So let's get engaged. I didn't want to turn this into a soapbox, and I don't want to be in a soapbox about the president's election either. But all the things we're talking about are relative to everything we do, especially for NABJ. And I'm not the person that people pat on the back, because I am the disruptor, and I will let people know they're not representing right. So we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to say this prayer, because I believe the power of prayer and what God can do. Lord, bless each member of this call as we apply what we talked about today to our lives and our work. Personally, God, life is filled with challenges, and you have given me a storm, but that's just a test of my faith and my resilience. Joy will come in the morning. Dear God, help us remind us that all good things come from you, and we're going to use these skills in this discussion to serve our media-related task force and advance our equity in this organization. And then we also will get something personal out of it. So I encourage each of us to take immediate action, put in these new insights and practice, use the base camp, share them with others, and help us remember that our life is personally driven by the success that God wants us to have. In his name we pray, amen, amen, amen. All right, guys, have a good one. Save the chat.
Amen. Talk to y'all later.
Y'all can unmute.
Are you saving the chat, Terry?
Yeah,
Terry,
I'm
saving the chat?
Yes, sir. I'll save it because I got to send it to you and Tony.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Y'all have a blessed weekend.
Congratulations
Bye-bye.
on being a new father, brother. He's
good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
How old is the baby now, Kendrick? How old is the baby now?
5 months. 5 months, yeah.
She get a driver's license next month, right?
Yeah, yep.
I told mine when he was that young, he gonna have to start paying rent, taking space up in my house.
Hey, Kale, we got to get together. I don't know. We got to get together soon, okay?
Absolutely.
So here, listen, next time you're coming up to LA, let me know and we'll hook up, all right?
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Everybody go to base camp and say something nice. Say something productive. Bye, y'all.
Oh, that's a lovely idea. Thank you guys for
Go
everything.
for it, KL. Love you.
So you're bringing back the happy hour, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's time
that's going to be good.
That's what everybody said at NABJ. Where's the happy hour? Well, I've been saving my drinks for the call. So
lovely.
Let's do it.
Hey, Tony, it's good to see you, brother. You know, it's always good to see you, man.
Tony.
Okay,
That's a
gentlemen.
great suit you got on.
Yeah,
a great suit you got on, Tony.
Yeah, it looks like Terry's. Look like I stole some out of his closet. But I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's AI, I tell you. It's AI.
Yeah, well, somebody put in this chat the photos from the convention. Hey, Ron, man, there's a great picture of you and I at the convention at the table, man. You gotta look at it, man. It's a nice picture.
You kidding?
Go look at it.
Oh,
and the picture, and the picture of Ron and me and Alcindor Yamiche did. That went everywhere.
That was a great picture. I got a lot of feedback from that picture. They're like, "Oh man, you were famous people." I said, "Yeah, I am." That was a great picture. And you know what? You know what was great about that picture? How she so freely talked to us.
That's right. And then
she told us she told us about that signal Trump was giving his handlers, you know, because
Right,
she's
he
seen it
was. Yeah,
before.
she saw
Get
it.
me off the stage. I can't hear. I can't hear. I can't hear. That was the signal for get me off the stage.
Right,
You
right,
know?
right.
Yeah,
So it was
I
all,
didn't know that. Huh? She
yeah, it was
did.
all
Yeah, she
planned.
told us that.
And she reposted the picture. So she got 10,000 views more than we did.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. That
so
was
this is the
crazy.
joy. So
Oh,
I'm waiting
yeah.
for, all right, base camp people, hit it up. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Good night.
All right.